What if I told you that the most powerful people in any room are often the ones who speak the least? While everyone else is fighting for airtime, true influencers are doing something completely different. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what that is. I used to be that person who thought talking more meant leading more. In meetings, I'd jump in with every idea, every opinion, every reaction. I thought I was being valuable. But then something happened that changed everything. I watched our CEO walk into a crisis meeting. While everyone panicked and talked over each other, she sat quietly. For 10 full minutes, she just listened. Then she asked 3 simple questions that completely transformed the conversation. That's when I realized I had it all backwards. Today, we're diving deep into the principles of How to Speak Less, Influence More, a book that will fundamentally change how you communicate. By the end of this video, you'll understand why silence is your secret weapon, how to command attention without demanding it, and the exact techniques used by the world's most influential leaders. So grab your notebook, because this isn't just theory. These are battle-tested strategies you can use immediately. Part 1. The Paradox of Power. Let's start with something that seems completely counterintuitive. The less you speak, the more people listen. Most people operate under a dangerous assumption. They believe that more words equals more value, more talking equals more authority, more explaining equals more clarity. But here's the brutal truth. The opposite is often true. The book opens with a powerful story about a young senator who couldn't figure out why his speeches weren't landing. He had facts, passion, and conviction, but people tuned out. Then a mentor pulled him aside and said something remarkable. You're drowning your message in words. Every time you add another sentence, you dilute your power. The senator decided to try something radical. In his next speech, he cut 60% of his words. He spoke half as long. And you know what happened? The audience leaned in. The media quoted him. His message finally broke through. Here's why this works. 1. The cognitive load problem. When you talk too much, you overwhelm people's mental capacity. The human brain can only process so much information at once. More words equals more work for the listener equals disengagement. 2. The credibility effect. Studies show that people who speak concisely are perceived as more confident and competent. Why? Because only insecure people over-explain. 3. The scarcity principle. When you speak less, your words become more valuable. Think about it. Would you rather have unlimited access to something or something rare and precious? Compare these 2 responses to, how was your project? Overtalker. Oh man, the project was really challenging. We had so many issues with the timeline, and the team wasn't always on the same page, but we worked through it, and there were some setbacks with the vendor, but eventually we got things sorted out, and I think overall it went pretty well, though there were definitely some bumps along the way. Influential communicator. It was challenging, but the team delivered. We hit our deadline despite some vendor issues. See the difference? Same information. 80% fewer words. 300% more impact. Remember, your words are currency. The more you spend, the less each one is worth.
Part 2. The Power of Strategic Silence. Now let's talk about something most people are terrified of: silence. We live in a world that punishes pauses. In meetings, on calls, in conversations, silence feels like failure. So we fill every gap with nervous rambling, unnecessary explanations, thinking out loud, repeating ourselves. But here's what the book reveals. Silence is not empty space. It's a strategic tool. There's a fascinating story about a master negotiator who was buying a company. The seller threw out a number, $50 million. Instead of responding, the negotiator just sat there, silent. 5 seconds pass, then 10. The seller got uncomfortable and said, But I could go as low as $45 million. Still nothing. More silence. $42 million is my absolute floor, the seller added. The negotiator hadn't said a single word, and he'd already saved $8 million. Finally, he spoke. Let me think about it. The deal eventually closed at $38 million. 1. The processing pause. After someone speaks, pause before responding. This shows you're actually thinking, not just waiting for your turn to talk. Terrible. Jumping in immediately with, yeah, but. Powerful. 3 seconds pause, then, that's interesting. Let me consider that. 2. The emphasis pause. Want something to land? Surround it with silence. Our company achieved something remarkable this year. Pause. We helped 10,000 families find homes. Pause. That's 10,000 fresh starts. Pause. 3. The invitation pause. Silence invites others to fill it, which often reveals what they're really thinking. In a negotiation, state your position, then stop talking. Let them respond. In a conflict, say your piece, then go quiet. Let them process. Here's the thing. Strategic silence will feel uncomfortable at first. The book recommends starting small. In your next conversation, pause for 3 seconds before responding. In your next meeting, resist the urge to fill every silence. When someone asks a question, count to 2 before answering. Imagine you're asked, "Why should we hire you?" Average candidate immediately launches into a nervous ramble about skills, experience, passion, teamwork. Strategic candidate, pause for 3 seconds. That's the right question. Here's what I bring. Makes 3 clear points, then stops. The pause creates anticipation. The brevity creates impact. Quote, "Silence isn't awkward. Silence is authority. Get comfortable being uncomfortable."
Part 3. The Art of Listening to Lead. Here's a stat that will blow your mind. The average person listens at only 25% efficiency. That means they miss 75% of what's being said. But here's the twist. The most influential people aren't just better at speaking, they're better at listening. Most people exist at one of these levels. Level 1, waiting to talk. Not really listening, just planning what to say next. Level 2, selective listening. Only hearing what confirms their existing beliefs. Level 3, active listening. Actually processing what's being said. Level 4, strategic listening. Understanding not just words, but emotions, motivations, and opportunities. The book argues that level 4 is where true influence lives. There's a powerful anecdote about a Fortune 500 CEO who was known for making brilliant decisions. People wondered if he was just smarter than everyone else. One of his executives finally asked him directly, "How do you always know the right move?" His answer? "I don't, but I listen to everyone who does. In every meeting, I speak last. I ask questions first. By the time I share my view, I've heard from the people on the ground, the experts, the skeptics, and the optimists. I'm not smarter. I'm just the best listener in the room." The book introduces a simple but powerful acronym. Why am I talking? Before you speak, ask yourself, is this adding value? Or am I just talking to talk? Could silence serve me better here? Instead of dominating conversations, influential people ask powerful questions. Discovery questions, like, help me understand. Expansion questions, like, tell me more about that. Reflection questions, like, what does that mean for? Average salesperson. Our product is amazing. It has 47 features, integrates with everything, and our customers love it. We've won awards, and our technology is cutting edge. Strategic salesperson. What's your biggest challenge right now? Tell me more about that. What would solving that be worth to you?
Who do you think closes more deals? The book reveals this powerful technique. When someone shares something important, repeat their last 3 to 5 words as a question. Them: I'm frustrated with how this project is going. You: how the project is going? Them opens up with the real issue. This simple technique shows you're listening, invites them to elaborate, builds trust and rapport. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Use them in that proportion.
Part 4. The precision principle. If you're going to speak less, every word needs to count. This is what the book calls the precision principle, the art of saying exactly what you mean in exactly the number of words you need. Most people bury their message under jargon and buzzwords, hedge words like kind of, sort of, maybe, unnecessary qualifiers, and circular explanations. The result: confusion, misunderstanding, and lost influence. The book shares a military story that's unforgettable. A general was known for his one-page rule. Every brief, no matter how complex, had to fit on 1 page. One day, a colonel spent weeks preparing a 50-page strategic analysis. He was proud of the depth and detail. He presented it to the general, who glanced at it and said, "If you can't explain it on 1 page, you don't understand it well enough." The colonel went back, removed all the fluff, all the hedging, all the unnecessary detail. He distilled it to 1 page. And you know what happened? The strategy was approved immediately. Why? Because clarity commands action. Weak. We need to improve our customer satisfaction metrics going forward. Powerful. We need to reduce response time to under 24 hours. See the difference? No jargon, metrics, going forward, specific action, reduce response time, clear target, under 24 hours. The book challenges you. Can you explain your idea in 1 sentence? If you can't, you don't understand it well enough yet. Examples. Bad. We're looking to leverage synergies across multiple platforms to optimize our digital transformation journey and create value-added touchpoints for stakeholder engagement. Good. We're moving our services online to save customers time. These words dilute your influence. Kind of, sort of, maybe, possibly, perhaps, I think, in my opinion. Compare. I think we should maybe consider possibly looking at the budget, versus we need to review the budget. Which person sounds like a leader? When you do speak, use the book's 3-part structure. Hook, get attention immediately. Heart, connect emotionally. Help, give them actionable value. Long, boring version? Our software platform utilizes cutting-edge AI algorithms to analyze data patterns and generate actionable insights through an intuitive dashboard interface that enables users to make data-driven decisions with confidence. Precise, powerful version. Imagine knowing exactly which customers are about to leave before they do. Our software tells you that. Then it tells you how to keep them. 3 of our clients increased retention by 40% in 6 months. Same product, completely different impact. Cut ruthlessly. Communicate clearly. Your influence depends on it.
Part 5. Commanding presence without saying a word. Here's something fascinating. Research shows that 55% of communication is body language, 38% is tone of voice, and only 7% is the actual words you use. So if you're speaking less, you'd better master the other 93%. The book reveals something counterintuitive. You can dominate a room without dominating the conversation. Presence isn't about being the loudest, taking up the most time, talking over others.
Presence is about calm confidence, intentional body language, and strategic positioning. There's a great story about an executive who was famous for never raising her voice. In a culture of alpha personalities and shouting matches, she was calm and measured. One day, the boardroom erupted into chaos. Two VPs were arguing loudly, talking over each other. The CEO was trying to restore order. Nothing worked. Then this executive simply stood up, didn't say a word, just stood. The room went silent. Everyone turned to look at her. She paused, then spoke quietly. What problem are we actually trying to solve? That one question changed everything, and it worked because of her presence, not her volume. 1. Posture equals power. Shoulders back, chin level, open stance, no fidgeting. Bad is slouched, arms crossed, looking at phone. Good is upright, open arms, eye contact. Eye contact equals connection. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds. Look when listening. Break naturally. Don't stare. Movement equals intention. Move with purpose. No nervous energy. Use space deliberately. Facial expressions equals authenticity. Calm, not tense. A slight smile when appropriate. Show you're engaged. The book offers this exercise. Before your next meeting, sit outside the conference room for 5 minutes. Observe who has presence. How do they enter the room? Where do they sit? What's their body language? How do others respond to them? You'll notice the most influential people move slowly, deliberately, and with confidence. When you do speak, these vocal qualities multiply your influence. Lower pitch equals authority. Nervous people speak high and fast. Leaders speak lower and slower. Strategic pacing. Fast for excitement, slow for importance. Pauses for emphasis. Volume control. Speak quietly to make people lean in. Never shout, unless there's a fire. Before important conversations, stand in front of a mirror, practice your opening line, watch your body language, slow down by 25%, pause more than feels natural. How you enter a room matters. Average is rush in, apologize for being late, fumble with materials, look flustered. Influential is enter calmly, make brief eye contact, settle in deliberately, and wait for attention naturally. Your presence speaks before you do. Make sure it's saying what you want.
Part 6. Practical Implementation. Okay, so we've covered a lot, but knowledge without action is just entertainment. Let's make this practical. The 30-Day Challenge. The book recommends this progression. Week 1. The awareness phase. Track how much you speak in meetings. Notice when you're talking just to fill silence. Identify your verbal tics and filler words. Week 2. The reduction phase. Cut your word count by 25%. Practice strategic silence for 3 seconds before responding. Replace 3 statements with questions in every conversation. Week 3. The precision phase. Use the one-sentence test for your ideas. Eliminate all hedge words. Practice the weight principle. Why am I talking? Week 4. The integration phase. Combine all techniques. Focus on nonverbal presence. Measure the response you get. In meetings, speak last, not first. Ask one powerful question instead of making 3 comments. Summarize others' points to show you're listening. In negotiations, make your offer clearly and concisely. Then stop talking. Let silence work for you. In conflicts, state your position in 2 to 3 sentences. Ask, "Help me understand your perspective." Listen 3 times more than you speak. In leadership, give feedback in 5 minutes, not 30. Ask, "What do you think?" before sharing your view. Use silence to empower others to step up. Every morning, commit to the intention, one goal for how you want to communicate today. The reminder, set an alarm to check in at lunch. Am I speaking less and influencing more? And the review. Every evening, reflect. What worked? What didn't? Not being silent to manipulate. Being strategic to serve. Not never speaking up. Being speaking up when it matters. Not being robotic and cold. Being warm but concise. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming the most effective version of who you already are.
Let me leave you with this. In a world where everyone is shouting, whispering is revolutionary. The person who speaks less and influences more isn't playing a trick. They've simply realized something profound. Your words are most powerful when they're rare, precise, and backed by presence. Think about the people who've most influenced your life. Your best teacher, your greatest mentor, that leader you'd follow anywhere. I bet they weren't the loudest person in the room. They were the person who made every word count. That can be you. Starting today, try this. In your next conversation, speak 25% less. Listen 50% more. Watch what happens. Watch how people lean in. Watch how your influence grows. Because at the end of the day, influence isn't about how much you say. It's about how much impact you make when you do. If this video added value, hit that like button. It helps more people discover these ideas. Subscribe for more content on communication, leadership, and influence. And drop a comment below. What's one technique you're going to try first? Remember, speak less, influence more. I'll see you in the next video.